Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope you can hear me. A few of you tuned in early, I can see. We've got quite a few guys already tuned in, so good evening to you. I see Rich King, you're there, Rich. Hi. I can also see that Pete Adamson was so keen that he booked on twice this evening. Maybe you've got a clone Pete, maybe, just checking who else is there. Hi, Jane. Oh, Jane Beard, hello. So I'm sat here with Will, actually, because as you know, technology is not exactly my forte, but you know, I think we're doing okay. So we're just about to start, waiting for a few more guys to turn up, as usual with these things. We're going to do a little test of the technology because we're using a brand new system. Me and Will are always fishing around in Emily, trying to find things that work well, but we don't have to pay a lot for, you know. So most people on webinars use something called GoToWebinar. Well, that's okay. It's quite cheap till we get to 100 people on, and we've got actually the capacity this evening was 100 people, and 100 people have booked on, which is great. But that probably tells me that some people tried to book on and they couldn't. You know? But the one we've got, what's it called, Will? He's sat beside me here. So
Webinars on Air.
It's called Webinars on Air, and it's only about £60 a month, as opposed to about £250 a month, you know. But so it's the first time we used it. We just want to make sure it's all working tonight. So there should be a little box, I think, on your right-hand side of your screen. Is that right? We're not doing that, Will?
Yeah.
Will's shaking his head and rolling his eyes at the moment. You say, not yet, not yet. Okay, so tonight we're going to be doing a few bits from the edge and a real good kind of news update, everything that's happening in the industry, really, the rent-to-rent industry, hopefully. And I'll get back to you shortly, all right? So we usually get going about 5 past because there's always some stragglers in there. So you should be able to see the picture, a big orange screen on your computers with a big reunion, and you can see the entrance hall of the Kensington Forum in London, and that's where me, Will, and Emily and Jane went for a little trip just to check out the hotel. And this is a nice place. It's really classy. So it's just good enough for MLCS, I think. It's going to be a great venue there. And the best thing about it, the thing that swung it for us, is that outside there's a Waitrose. Can't ask for more than that. So right, sit tight, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hi then, good evening everybody. If you've just joined us, so it's peculiar. I get Simon's bad when there's a webinar on that's going to start at 8 o'clock. Sometimes I'll tune in 5 past or 10 past. So we're all guilty of that. But we had 100 people register, and about, I don't know, must be about 75% people came along. So I guess the other 25% are eating their tea, or as in Richard's Hodgson's case, in the shower. I've just seen. Oh, we're out of the shower now, Rich. Anyway, so we didn't know what to call the webinar this evening because there's such a lot of good things in it. A little bit of update about the rent-to-rent Achilles heel contract that we're trying to put into place, and this is going to be a first for the rent-to-rent kind of industry or any industry. Well, not any industry. It's been used in the brewery industry for a while, and that's the contract that kind of allows you to evict people within a week, we think. So that's actually been drawn up and it's been sent to a solicitor as we speak. So we could have called it that because that's actually huge. And we're going to try and really keep that within our group as well. So that's going to make our group really strong. But we decided to call it, as you can see, the Big Reunion 2015 Deal of the Century. What was that TV program? Sale of the Century, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah, I think so. But you might know we're doing 2 events in April. So we're doing the reunion on the 26th, and a lot of guys have asked why we've moved it to London, because we looked in the support group on the map, and I'm sure you've all been on the map to see who lives in your area, and there was loads of guys actually living in London, so we just decided to move it there, and also it's just an excuse for me to go to London really and watch a show or something. I don't know. Go to Leicester Square, whatever you do when you go to London. Trafalgar Square, lots of squares, isn't there? And then also the day before, as we were up there, we started to put on another event. And this will be the first of its kind on the planet, I think. And as you might have seen the adverts for that, HMO in a box. And I've got quite a selfish reason for doing that. And I'll tell you what that is this evening, actually, at some point in the next hour or so. So first slide, I didn't book the reunion on time. Believe it or not, last time, because we held it in the Aztec Spa Hotel, we thought great if there was about 50 people would be great, and it just went up and up and up till we got to 100, and we had to turn people away, and a few people got a little bit upset with me, and then as it is, one person didn't turn up and there was 99 there, and I think that person's on the webinar tonight, so you know who you are. You didn't turn up and we never had 100, not that we're cross for you talking anyway. So it's all about taking action. I think that's what we always talk about on the events. So why is volume on screen? Well, last year, if you were at the reunion, you might remember we did a big launch of Endless to Tenants, and that's gone really well. I think a lot of people have been implementing the strategies that we kind of discovered there, reporting a loss in voids, a reduction in voids. So that's going really well. This year, we're doing a talk. It's going to be employing a property manager, and I know a lot of you have already got this, already bought the mini manual. And a lot of you guys are putting it into practice as well. I think Steve Dorrans is employed a property manager. Uche, Suze Mullins, I think, has just been employed your first property manager. So having a manual is one thing, and it's great. But we're going to do a little talk on that, where we really dig deep, because it's a big subject. The whole point of us getting into property investing is not to give ourselves a huge job. And it's a very good question I'm going to be asking you in a minute. I nearly asked you then, but it's all about timing, isn't it? But I would say employing a property manager is the next essential step for sure. And it's the great thing about it that Will's going to be coming along and presenting 50% of this as well, because you can see things from their point of view and from our point of view, which I think is an ideal situation to be in. Don't worry if you haven't got any properties yet. You still need to be thinking about a property manager at the start, because this is like an apprenticeship, I think. A lot of people get into property and think, well, I've not really achieved very much in 6 months or 3 months. When I did my apprenticeship doing carpentry, I didn't achieve very much in the first 3 years, to be honest. It's only when you get to the end of the 3 years, when your kind of training's done, then you start to get the results. So I'm going to think of property a bit the same, really. I've only been working in property full time for 4 years. We've been doing the events now, our own events, for 2 years, and now it's getting easier because we're starting to understand how to market and how to do things. So don't worry if you haven't got the results you want to get yet. You're in the middle of your apprenticeship. some people say do more of this. That's what it's about. Improve your property manager so you can sit on the beach. But for me, it was having the time to write a book. I wanted to write a book forever, and if not for the fact that we put Will into place and met Will, went through the whole process, the interviews and everything, that book will still be a pipe dream, I think, for me. So that's what it means to me. What does it mean for you? You know, you've got to think. So this is the question that somebody asked me. I was at a networking meeting. I went to the Berkshire Property Meet this week, and I've made a bit of a commitment to just one. I said I'm going to go to every Berkshire Property Meet this year. So there's only 10 a year, and it's 2.5 hours for me if Jane drives. 2.5 hours up and about 2 hours back because I drive back. But, you know, it's still kind of a lot of time away. Got to pay hotel bills and all that kind of stuff. And somebody asked me this. He was being a bit of, is it okay to say smart ass? No, I better not. He was being a bit smug. And he said, do you know your tenants' names? To which I looked even more snug and said, no, actually, I don't. Because if you know your tenant's name, then maybe you're doing something wrong. You know, after you get to maybe 3 properties, 4 properties, it could be time to kind of step back. We got this great thing. I pinched this off Aaron. I'm not sure if Aaron's on tonight. Aaron Yahaha. And he said CANI, C-A-N-I, which he calls constant and never-ending improvement, which I'd not kind of heard before. But it's a pretty cool way of looking at things. And it's how we approach our business, to be improving things all the time, every day. It's a bit, the principles are a bit the same. It's a slight edge, I guess, just constant, never-ending improvement. I was looking for some images today online. I found this because this is something I say almost every day. I say, Will, work for free? There's that old thing, isn't there? Eat, shoots and leaves, you know, so if you put the comma in the wrong place. Will's always turned me down when I've asked him to work for free, but I thought I just wanted to put that up because I thought it was pretty cool, you know. So this is one of the slides you might have seen from our event that we use. There's a lot of funny stuff there on the side, isn't it? Correct body posture, firm handshake. I think Will fits most of those things. Not sure about the clean shaven one, you know, though he's had a haircut today. So anyway, but looking back in hindsight, I think it's always a thing that if I could go back and advise myself, the me of 2 years ago and 3 years ago, I would have said, Francis, think about getting a property manager from day one, you muppet. You know? And we made a lot of mistakes at the start. Where to advertise? We advertised in the job centre. That was a big mistake. We booked a room to conduct the interviews in, not the bedroom joke. I'm not going to do that one again. We booked a office room, and we conducted, you know, professional interviews, thinking about people's experiences and their references. And the big one, most people say, is I can't afford to pay a property manager. Well, you know the way that we systemize it. If you've got the employer property manager for free, you'll see that it kind of feels like we have a property manager working for us for free, the way we've kind of organized it. But of course, Will does get paid, otherwise he won't be around for very long. But it's just like a system. You just got to get your systems in place, really. And the question is, where is your tipping point? Because when we got to 10 properties, we were doing our events then as well. Emily had other interests as well. I was into other things. I've got a very demanding wife. I can say that because she's not in the room and she's not on the webinar. But we had a life as well, is the thing. And we found with all the tenants we had then, we were just rushing around all over the place. And like we got a call in the middle of the night. We didn't have our systems in place, so we had to respond to that. So having a property manager in place, you know, where is your tipping point? When is the point going to come when you think, I can't take this anymore? So start thinking about getting that property manager, even before you get your first property, to be honest. You can make friends with a person who you think can be good for the job, explain the business to them, where you hope to be in a few years, and, you know, kind of grow with them. And Will's been working with us for, it must be nearly 2 years, Will. Yes. Yeah, just about 2 years. And it seems like 10, he's just said to me, actually, but no, it's only 2, isn't it, Will? But Will's kind of fit in. He's doing jobs now that we didn't visualize him doing at all at the time, you know, shaking his head now again. So, so the big reunion, who's there? So Will's a natural presenter as well now, it would seem. Like he gets a little bit nervous beforehand, but, you know, like we all do. So we've also got this guy, Simon Hazeldine. Or if you've not seen Simon before, heard of Simon, he popped up on my radar a few years ago, and I heard him speak. So we're just having a little technical thing here. Okay, we heard him speak, and he's just amazing. He's a negotiation guy. I bought a couple of his books, and we used some tips from his book in The Edge. You know, it's good stuff. Asked Simon to come and talk at the event. Didn't think he'd say he would, because he's you know, he moves around, you know, in the big league. And he said yes. He even remembered me. Well, he said he did anyway. So someone's coming along to speak. Top tip, if you do come to the reunion, what do I mean if, when you come to the reunion, don't sit in the front row, because he's very, he spits a lot. He's got a lot of people in the front row. Anyway, you might know Raj. I don't know if Raj is on tonight as well. Raj is in the group. He did the course a little while back. Raj is our big expert on planning and Article 4. Raj actually lives in Nottingham, where he's got his portfolio there, right in the middle of an Article 4 area. So what he doesn't know about planning and Article 4, he's had to cope with the whole kind of system. And you might have come to the reunion last year and heard Andy do a very good talk. Raj kind of approaches it from a completely different angle, and we thought we'd keep Article 4 in because it's current. It's always on people's minds. It's always on the edge of the frame. Now, this is Suki Walla Walla. The reason we booked him is I just love saying his name. Suki Walla Walla, Suki Walla Walla. All right, I'll stop. Suki was a millionaire by age 23, very smart guy, very astute. And I went to a dinner 2 years ago. I was the last one to come downstairs, and there was only one place left, and it was beside him. Because sometimes people are a bit kind of scared to sit beside people; they're not sure what to say. And there was this guy; he's quite a big guy, and people, So I thought, hey, there's a seat. I'll go and sit beside him. And we got on just great, And he is one smart dude. Again, the circles he moves in, he's like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I think they seem to be like a league up, but maybe I'm trying to sell myself short. But when I asked him to speak as well, he said, yeah, great. He took a bit more persuading, to be honest. But so to have these guys talking, I think these guys are smart dudes. You could be in the room with these guys and writing down as they talk. These people are you, because coming to the reunion, the whole thing about it was partly to meet people and see if they do actually exist outside Facebook, And it's just great to interact with people. There was a couple of joint ventures done at the last reunion. People got to get together outside of Facebook, found that they really gelled, and they're business partners. So it's great. And the big one, I don't know if I should say he's the biggest star, because it depends who you're into. But to me, this is Johnny Cass. And when I talk to people about Johnny, I say, Johnny Cass? And some people say no. I'd say about 50% of people. I said, you don't know Johnny Cass. You must know Johnny Cass, not Johnny Cash, not to be confused with him. He's been dead for a few years. Johnny, I would say without a doubt, changed my life. If not for meeting Johnny, I definitely would not be doing the things I'm doing now. As you know, I was a builder until 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Without meeting this person and spending time with him, there's a good chance I would still be doing the same thing. So life-changing times for me. And I'm a skeptic. I went to this event called the Billionaire Boot Camp. I thought it was a bit of fluff, and then Johnny turned up on day 3, and yeah, it changed my life. I don't say that lightly. You know me, no bullshit. Oh, is it okay to say that as well? I don't know. So you might see an advertised. Some people haven't been on the website to see these events. You've got to get on the website and check out the films. Go on the multi-let cash flow system. Go onto the events tab. You'll see the big reunion. And there's a like an X Factor style film, which we did for a bit of a laugh, really. Emily done the voiceover on that. That's hysterical. And there's also the HMO in a box day, and the video for that is like a Hollywood style video. I'll come to that one in a minute. But you can see, so we got 2 full-on training days. And if you see the guys on the HMO in a box training day, £679. What's that? £330 a day. That's like mega cheap. But you know what this is about. You're going to do a really good deal at the end of this that you can't say no to. All right. Hope you won't. Anyway, the newsletter. So very quickly, in the middle of the webinar, I thought I'd tell you a few things that are happening to keep everybody up to speed. So I know a lot of you guys need to raise funds to kickstart or to improve on your rent-to-rent business, same as I did, really. So I know I've seen a few guys out in the street doing this. Really, Clive, that's not going to work, mate. That's not going to work. So what you need to do, or you could do, is talk to this guy. Now, he actually came along. He was really into the whole kind of the calls, the rent-to-rent thing. So he came on the last event. Oliver's got a lot of funds that he'd like to place with people. So I get lots of PMs and kind of emails about people asking about funds. Here is a guy in our group. He's got loads of funds and he wants to invest. So just contact him. Could be a good time to take a photograph of the screen if you get your phones out. I think we'll be posting this up. Hopefully, because I said it's a new system we're using. Hopefully, when we press the record button, we'll know when we get to the end of it if it's worked. But I'm pretty confident it will. No pressure, Will, no pressure. So another news thing, I've been to these events, I've been to 3 of them. I've not been able to go to the last 2. These guys are smart dudes. It's the Key Person of Influence event. As to Daniel Priestley on the left, and what's her name, Darshwana, I think, on the right. You can get tickets for this event if you go on their website, up to like £200 if you want to sit in the front. But tickets at £49 for a day. These people are smart, and you get a free book, so it's worth going for the free book. For sure, it is. The book is amazing, but this is such a great day just to go along, mixed with smart people, network. What Daniel's thing is all about is this: the 5 Ps. Really, finding a perfect pitch, and we talk about that on the course. Publish your ideas, and that could be. I was talking to somebody on the edge, and I said, "What about if you write one of those really small books, like a little pocket book, very similar to rent-to-rent books, and make it all about rent-to-rent? Why the agents should do rent-to-rent? If you can spend a bit of time making one of those little books, you can actually get those books for about £1. You know, if they're really small. What was that website that we found? It was linked to Amazon." MySpace, Eurospace, Cloudspace. No, it's not called that. I'll come back to it on that one. I can't remember what it's called, but you can get these people to publish a book for you for £1. So instead of giving the agent a card, hand them a small book. And you think that's crazy, but the crazy ideas are the ones that work. You know, I find. Productize your value. It's called Create Space, Will said. Yeah, just Googled it. So productize your value, reach your profile, that's a big one, and partnerships, that's also very big. But just go along for the day. This is the kind of day, this is where you'd be sat. Like I say, I've been to 3 of those events, and click through that link, and I think you get a further discount as well. He offers some sorts of deal. I might be at that one actually. Hopefully I'll be at that one in London. Anyway, so crack on. So, oh, this is the big one. This is all very sad. The guy who ran the warranty hub, Rob Betts, was just popped out of the office, and he was on the way back to work across the car park, fell down. They called sort of an air ambulance and everything to take him away, but too late. I think he probably died on the spot, just heart failure. So when I went to the funeral, and the family kind of assured me that they were going to carry on, and it seems that they tried to, but they weren't able to. You know, without him, he was the guy in control of everything. You know. So we've been trying to find somebody to replace his service ever since. So me and Will did go and have a meeting with this guy, Paul Routledge. He's in Bristol. It's a company that's been around for quite some time. He popped up on my radar. I thought he was great because they've got a service where if you get a tenant that's been a rogue tenant, you log onto their site and you can report them. So then if somebody applies for your room, if you can find the time to do this, you can go onto their site, search for that person. You'll get either a green light saying he's good, an amber light saying, no, he's okay, or a red light means avoid. So I thought it was quite a good service, but to be honest, I used it a few times in the early days and I didn't really have time, but it's still a great service. The good thing about them, they say, that's what Paul said, they do referencing in one place. I'm not sure how much it is, 20, 30 quid. That's the tenant history report I was talking about. They also do really good ID verification. And you know about the new laws that could come in the Legal Immigrant Act, which pretty much means that the government want us to do their job for them because they're incapable of doing the job. And if we don't do their job right, then we could be fined. So he says that, I'm verified this yet, that they've got direct links to government websites that he said to pay a lot of cash to get. And the illegal immigrant checks can be sent back almost instantly. So you know, that's pretty cool. So rent guarantee insurance, no need for a warranty deposit. Now, when I met with Paul, he was talking about something and I was talking about something else, and it took us a long time to kind of understand what the other one was talking about. But basically, Paul is saying we don't need to take out deposit warranties with the landlord or the agents anymore, because they're guaranteed rent insurance and deposit damage insurance. It's enough to take care of that, and it only costs £100. So what he's suggesting we do is we tell the landlord when we're taking over a property that they've got to insure us to make sure that we pay him the rent and we don't smash the place up at all. That will cost the landlord £100, which we pay, and that's all we need. So it took me quite a long time to understand that, and I didn't actually get that from Paul. Me and Will went back home after we met him, and we found the information on the website. So we were talking across swords for a while, cross swords for a while. But it seems like a pretty good service, and this seems to be the way we're all going to go. And also you get a person, once you go onto the site, you've got a person you get to know, you deal with all the time. The only reason I haven't jumped in onto the Facebook group and said this guy's the best is because that's what I did the last time. So I'm kind of hanging back. I'm still doing a bit of research on this guy, but he seems, seems good. If you really want to do a warranty deposit, or if your agent doesn't want to do the insurance, I found these two, and there's a couple of short links there. You can just take a picture of those with your phone. It's probably the easiest thing. It's easier than writing them down. And that's a couple of companies out there that do deposit insurance still. Okay. So this one, we're all members of this now, aren't we? Nodding, everybody's nodding. Good to see everybody nodding. So it's £114 a year, and it's the law. You've got to do this. Somebody said this afternoon, they said trying to choose which redress scheme to use is like choosing who to vote for: Labour, Conservative, or UKIP, and they're all rubbish, but you've got to vote for somebody. You've got to become a part of a redress scheme. So we find this one is the best one. It's nonsense if you ask me, but there you go. So we've got an Agents Day coming up. You might know we did 2 Agents Day. The first one, people we did it with, good guys, but it was not a good fit for us. I should have listened to Kev a long time ago when he said do an Agents Day with me, because us and Kev, we're a great fit. And if anybody was along at the first Agents Day, you'll see it was just awesome. The day Kev just gave everything. So I think we're about 50% on that one. It's a smaller group. We have groups of about 25. So there's about 12 and 15 people booked on this one. But really, if you're getting stuck with agents at all, I'm not trying to sell you stuff. It's not one of those things, or I suppose I am. I don't know. But doing the Agents Day is worth it for sure. You get, the value in this is like immense, and you can book on that one from the website. I see these kind of add-on days as part of your apprenticeship. When I do my apprenticeship and when I do training, I spend thousands and thousands of pounds and time, I suppose, as well. So, buying an event here and there for a few £100, I just think it's essential. Maybe that's just me. So this is the last Agents Day. There's Joanne there. A memory I've got of that day, Joe, I know you're on the webinar tonight, is you eating an eclair. I don't know why that is. Maybe there's a picture of you on the website. I don't know, weird, isn't it, how your mind works? So there's the manual. The manual we had on the first day, we've kind of that's been grown a bit and improved upon. So we're always trying to improve things, CANI, constant and never-ending improvement. And there's some of the guys. Obviously, I'll put a picture of all the ladies there and Kev, because that's where he looks his best amongst the ladies. Kev didn't actually sleep that night. He had trouble with the printer, and he had trouble on a few things. And by the time he got to the event, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, so he didn't see any point in going to bed. And he done remarkably well. It was an amazing day. So that's, if you're if you're having a bit of trouble with agents and don't even think about it, just come on to that event. Right, come to the end of the newsletter bit, and we've got some great content from the Edge coming up, direct to owner kind of stuff, how to find the owners, giving you a bit of that tonight. So, we're kind of into our manuals and our books and all that stuff. Well, this was the first one that me and Emily put together. That was like nearly 3 years ago now. And we found one of the old ones last week, and it's changed so much, almost 50% of it, I guess. If you came on the early event, you wouldn't have got this. This is what everybody gets now, is a print out of the slides, the workbook, which I think is quite essential to get all the slides from the day, because you go on events, people say they're going to send them out, but they never do. This book, this is like 50% multi-lets and rent-to-rent, all that kind of stuff, and 50% all the disasters in property, where it all went wrong for us in the early days. So it's just a bit of further research. If you're into books, it's a good one to read, and you can also get it on Kindle. Is it worth 10 quid for the rent-to-rent part of it? I think so, because it's your industry. It's what you've chose. So the Edge training, there's only about 8 of these out there in the world at the moment. We've only done 1 Edge training, so we've kind of improved on that one since the last time as well, and that's like the next step. I guess you've all got NS tenants, haven't you? Everybody's got that one? Yeah, everybody's putting their hand up? Yeah, okay. So we all know what that one's about, the end of voids. This is what I've been talking about earlier on, property manager, finding your perfect agent, and rent-to-rent secrets has just come out. And this is a reduced version. The first one was a little bit big, so this one actually fits into your pocket. Now, the reason I brought all the manuals up is because we're going to be launching 2 more in April. I want to tell you what they are. You might know this guy. He's talking at the HMO in a Box Day. His name's Mike Woods. He's a Welsh guy. He's into, what's that game, that really weird shaped football, like rugby or something. I meant to ask him how they got on rugby in rugby. England and Wales played recently, but he put the phone down on me when I asked him. I don't know, he must have got upset about something. I don't know. Mike has done about 100 refurbishments, he said. He's a structural engineer, I think he is, or an architect, you know. He's been in the industry for a long time. His big thing is not to overspend. He said everybody gets into a property and the first thing they do is overspend. So we're putting this together. Hopefully it'll be finished by April, because these manuals take a lot of time to get the details right and, you know, make sure it's all good and quality stuff. Me and Kev are working on this one as well. This was going to be me and Damien, but Damien's a busy man. He just hasn't got the time, so Kev's very kindly offered to help on this one. And it's a blueprint mini manual about contracts and evictions, because I think a lot of us understand contracts, but it's the details, like what's a section 42 or is it a 48? Even I get confused about it. When to use section 15, and there's a lot of changes coming up on section 21s, so we're not going to launch this until we've got all those new changes, so it's bang up to date. Can't talk too much about that tonight. It's quite involved, all that kind of stuff. And also evictions. I've never actually evicted anybody from the multi-lets. It's a road I don't want to go down. It just eats up your time. So I use persuasion on that. But if you are going to go down the eviction road, and of course we all do sometimes, you know, I guess I have to in the future at some point. I want to know that I'm doing things 100% correctly. So putting these two together, hopefully we'll have them for April the 26th, and a little launch of this. So that's the end of the newsletter part. I think it's just a name that we've picked for the Edge. There's lots of names flying around, so this is this month's name, I think. Exceptionally dynamic group of entrepreneurs. That kind of fits well with what we're trying to achieve, I think. So the initial training, let's have a little drink of water. As you know, it's really hard to cover everything in the time we've got. We've only got 7 hours on the training, so we focus on getting leads from agents, because agents have got hundreds of thousands of leads. But of course, getting leads direct to the owners is probably a better option if we can. So this is just something we run through on the Edge, and it's a good way to track the owners down. First one is an obvious one. Try knocking on the door, because I know properties before where I thought the property was empty. So you go and bang on the door, and somebody answers it and go, whoa, you know, I thought the property was deserted. So try that one first. And this is another one. This is the big one. Me and Jane were trying to buy a house a few years ago. We didn't actually get the deal in the end. But we banged on the neighbour's door, asked who they were, asked if they knew who owned the house, and they were only too pleased because the house had been empty for years. They wanted somebody to buy the house to fix it up. It was all overgrown. They were only too pleased to let us have the details, but unfortunately we couldn't do a deal on that one. But ask the neighbours. This is a good one. If nobody's in the property, send a recorded letter, even if it's like a student property. Just do a recorded letter to the house. Maybe the students will send it on, or how would that work? Would it go? Yeah, if you've done a recorded letter to the house, Royal Mail would send it on. So, you know, ask at the post office. It's not something I've done, but I saw somebody did this in the forum, the HMO forum in the week. Ask at the post office. There's an empty homes register. If the property's been empty for some time, check out there. Also, local shops and pubs. You know, people talk, especially shops, I would say. I don't think we've got the postman on there coming up, you know, but ask all those people. This is another good one. Births, deaths and marriages registry. See what you can find out there. Local papers for obituaries. It's all very dark, this, isn't it? You know, this is all I suppose we're talking about. Properties actually empty. Telephone directories and 192. It's kind of the same thing in a way. There's a website 192 where you can find out people's addresses, you know, check all those out. Social media, it's amazing what you can find out from social media, because I've actually checked all you guys out before you came on the course. Yeah, and you, Joe, as well. I've looked on your site. And private detectives. Peter Licorina's told me about this, that they actually employed a private detective. I think they were paying, they said between 20 and 30 pounds. Well, we've done a little bit of research ourselves and found that a private detective sometimes can get you an email address and a phone number, even a phone number, for 15 quid. There was a guy doing this online. He did a couple for us and it did work. I think we paid him 25 pounds, but both the deals, one deal, the guy just said, I'm not interested, because it was going to somebody's estate. and the other one was a guy we've tried to work with before, and he'd already said no. But what it proved to us is that his system worked. But unfortunately, that particular guy had a bit of history. John Normandy, is it okay to say his name? And so we decided not to work with him because he owed somebody in the group some money. So ethically, as far as we were concerned, we didn't feel as if we could work with him at all. This is kind of the big one, the rent-to-rent Achilles heel. So we did do a little webinar on this a while back, but just in case you missed it, what is it all about? So this is the thing that people don't talk about. I've never heard any trainers advertise this or seen them advertise it, heard them talking about it. So I think a lot of people just sweep this under the carpet and pretend it doesn't exist. But there's never been an answer for this one, actually. So what is it all about? So you rent a property off a landlord through an agent, everything's going well, it's all going really fine. And then you get to the end of that contract, the landlord's saying he wants the property back within the last 6 months. Okay, that's right, Mr. Landlord, we can do that. But then 4 months to go, 3 of your tenants decide to leave. So what do? You could either take a big hit on the cash, because as you know, if you sign somebody in for 3 months or 4 months or 2 months on an AST or even a license, legally they can still stay for 6 months. So probably 99% of the time, your tenant's not going to know that, and they'll just go when the contract says they have to go. But you could get one person who's like a law student, or some person who just makes a career being awkward, and they could just refuse to go. Ask me how I know this. It happened to us. It was a lady called Mia, and I'll tell you about her in a second. So what do? You just decide to leave those rooms empty. So you could have 3 rooms empty. You could have for 3 months, £400 or £500 a month. You're going to lose a load of cash. Or do you just take a chance and re-let those rooms, hoping that the people aren't going to understand the law? Well, we did the last one, and the lady we got, I got this picture of the internet, but this is her. I thought, Mia, is that you? And Mia was like, she was just all over the place. She would leave her bedroom door open, go to sleep, leave the front door open, go off to work. I didn't mean unlocked. She would leave the front door open, Her room was a constant mess. When she turned up, it was like a whirlwind in the house, she was all over the place. So the mistake I made, and me and Emily made at the time, is we didn't arrange for anywhere for Mia to go. We just assumed when we told her she had to go in 2 months that she would go. So a few days before we said, Mia, is everything okay? Because the other 3 guys in the house by this time had just gone. So we asked her if she's okay to leave. And this is what we got. It all went pear-shaped. So she kind of refused to talk to us. And she said, I've spoken to the council to see if they could get me somewhere to live. And they said, you're trying to illegally evict me, so I'm going to refuse to go. And then I also got a phone call from the council. Here he is, Mr. Council guy, saying to me, you can't evict this person. She can stay there for another 3 months. I went, okay. I think she just misunderstood what I said. I was thinking on my feet. And I said, I've actually got her a room in another house. It's a far more expensive room that she can have for the same price. She was paying £350. This other room was about 460, 470, big room. And so we had to move Mia into that. And she stayed for 2 months, and she was only paying £350. But there's no answer for it at all, really. And if I'd have kind of argued with the council guy, he could have taken me to court. It would have hit the fan. It would have been bad. But now we do believe there's an answer. I got talking to somebody. This actually came through Kevin Winchester. That's another reason why he's a good guy to know, because of all the people that he knows. So Kev put me in touch with somebody. This guy had got a contract that the breweries had been using to, because like now around London, all over the place, there's empty pubs. People try to take over a pub, it doesn't work, and then the pub seems to shut down for a while, and somebody else moves into the pub. Well, sometimes those pubs are empty for a month or 2 months or 3 months, and the first thing you see is somebody throws something through the window, and then the place gets overgrown and a bit trashed, So the brewery said this was costing them a lot of cash, so they wanted to put somebody into those pubs for a very short term to look after it, a guardian. So the contract that the brewery created was called a guardianship. We're just checking a little technical thing here. I think Will's feeling anxious. I've got a couple of questions. We'll go through those questions at the end, guys, okay? Because I can't actually see the questions on this system yet, so we get to the end. So, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, I'm getting things saying the screen is frozen and the volume's got really quiet. So we've not actually changed anything at all. So can some people just put some comments in the bar if you can hear us and if you can see us? Yep, got one saying, yeah, everything's good. Oh, and somebody else then they've lost the sound. Okay, not sure if you can we type something in the box and answer?
No.
Okay, let's put on chat a minute. I don't know if some of you... Okay, I think we might have lost the stand there for a couple of seconds, but if you can just tell me again if you can hear us. Okay, back in the game. So that's from Andrew Mitchell. Thank you very much, Mitchell. Jane Beard, I hope you can hear us again now. And Leslie, hope you can hear as well. So we're not doing anything different. All the systems working. So maybe it's because I live out in the sticks. Maybe, I don't know. But okay, but I don't know how far you heard, but the answer, I think we've got an answer now to our Achilles heel. And this is a contract that the brewery's been using to install people into pubs for a very short time. So that's all been drawn up and it's going to a solicitor this week, or it's already gone. So hopefully that's going to be the answer to this. And as far as I know, nobody else knows about this contract. Nobody else even talks about this situation. So we're going to make it available to the group if we can. I think the guy who owns it is not going to give it to us for free. So he was talking about hundreds of pounds, but I said, no, we can't really. It's going to be, there's going to be a small fee for it for sure, but we'll try and keep that as small as we can, you know. And we won't be making anything out of it, by the way. So what else have we been up to, Will? We've been up to this, me and Will and Emily, business plans. I don't know if you saw the little post that they did on Facebook. We all drive through fog now and again. Yeah, it's a good analogy, this one. You're driving through fog, you know you're going to get there at some point. You take it really slowly. It's all a bit confusing. But on a clear day, you can see where you're going. It's faster to get there. So we've been working on a rent-to-rent plan for some time. So it's just about finished. This is no ordinary business plan. Usually business plans are a bit boring and a bit kind of straight. You know our stuff. It's all bright and funky and kind of good fun. So there's the cover. I think when we're doing this one, is this only for the edge at the moment? This will probably be for people coming on the edge, maybe, but we'll see, you know. And this, again, is part of our kind of philosophy, the CANI, you know, constant and never-ending improvement. We're always kind of thinking of ways we can help everybody along. And it seems to me a lot of people are a bit unsure, kind of haven't got a plan in place, you know. And if you haven't got a plan to get to your destination, how do you know when you're there even, you know? So this is something, another little piece from the edge. So I'm not going to leave this on the screen for long. So if you've got your cameras out, you better be really quick. Are you ready? These are the leaflets that we've been using. Oh, there you go, one at a time. And I'm not going to put them back up again. So one of those has worked very well. So some of the others were kind of okay, but one of those leaflets worked very well, and that is definitely part of the edge thing, you know. You might see my little tease video as well we put up on Facebook for a little while. There's one very naughty person, I'm not sure if he's on the webinar tonight, actually took the video off our website. That cost us quite a few £100 to make, and we were a little bit annoyed about that actually, because what we have done is made a version of it, and it's this one. And I know lots of guys have already got this. Lots of guys that came down to Berkshire last year got this one to put on their websites. But as it is, this is part of the edge as well. This costs us, I don't know, a couple of £100, I suppose, and loads of time working out the scripts and the pictures and all that kind of stuff. So all that stuff, you know, come on the edge and get all that stuff. I hope everybody's subscribed to this, have they? This is our little thing we created for free at 52multilettips.com. I think I subscribed to it straight away, and I'm on week 8, and the tips are great if I say it myself. And it took us forever to do this. We were talking to loads of landlords, all the things that work for them, all the things that don't. So just grab that one, guys, if you haven't already. Just part of that, you know, constant improvement thing that we talk about all the time. I'm not talking too fast. I always think I talk too fast. I have a drink of water. So this guy, So we are keeping this webinar pretty short tonight, and we're all very busy people. So we're pretty much at a full house now. Lots of other guys came in. Don't worry if you missed the start of the webinar. Well, I think we can record it. That's we'll know when we get to the end. So hopefully you all know this guy. His name's Ash Zubri. He runs the Facebook HMO group. He's a good guy. He's like on a mission, I would say. He's not a big fan of Article 4, as you can see. Ash is coming to the HMO day to do a half-hour talk, also on Article 4, but a completely different angle from Raj, because he's talking to lots of big business people, the NLA, all this kind of stuff, and he wants to. He like Article 4 to go away, really. He's described Article 4 quite a few times as using a sledgehammer to break a walnut, you know, and the council are just making it kind of easy for themselves and raking in loads of funds. It's just like another tax, I think. So he's coming along to talk on the HMO day, and it's going to be really great to meet him in person, you know, because he is one of the coolest guys on the planet, as you can see. But how cool is this, eh? I found this picture on his Facebook profile this afternoon. That's one of those pictures you thought, oh no, I thought I took that one off. You put it on Facebook, it's there for the world, Ash, I'm afraid. So, hey guys, you better think about cleaning up your own Facebooks as well, I think. So I was going to tell you selfish reasons why we decided to do a HMO in a box day. Because when I got into property first, me and Jane, the whole idea was to buy properties that are going to set us up for, retirement. I suppose retirement. I'm too young to retire. Set us up, to be able to afford nice cars, nice holidays, a silk shirt, all that kind of stuff, you know. And then we got sidetracked into rent to rent, which is great. But I see rent to rent is unless you can systemize it pretty fast, you've got to do a certain amount of work kind of all the time. And then there's always that risk that the owner might take the property back. I suppose it's like the control thing. You haven't got as much control as properties you own. I much prefer looking after and spending on properties that I own than the properties that I don't own. So the end game for us, and I hope for all of you as well, is still to own some HMOs. So I've been out of the game of buying properties for 18 months, not bought a property for 18 months. Because after getting sidetracked with rent to rent, which is great, we want to perfect it, make it great. Then we got sidetracked into the events, and the events just gobble up all your time. They really do. So because we want our events to be the best as well, not some kind of half-assed event. You know how it is with us guys, So why do the HMO in a box day? Well, this one we all want to buy as well. I don't know if if you find this as well. When you see the amount of emails maybe you get sometimes landing in your inbox, all the different events, sometimes I just go delete, 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 because none of the events, I think, oh, it's okay, it's a bit of fluff as well, but I wanted to create an event that's going to take it from start to end, how to source the property in the first place and how to refinance yourself out and everything else in between. Some of the guys we've got, I'll show you in a bit. Again, I decided to ask the people who I consider to be at the top of their game, thinking they might say no. Every one of them said yes, apart from one lady, Susie Cole, can't be there on the day, but she's going to make us a quarter of an hour film that we're going to show. And I'll just tell you about that in a second. The great thing about it is as well that there's going to be no fluff on this day at all. I told the guys you can't do any introductions at all, because we're going to put a one-page introduction into the manual that you get on this day. So we're going to get a workbook manual of all the slides, an introduction of every speaker with their contact details in there as well, and you can have access to them after the event if you need it. And the last reason is we're there on the Sunday, which I discovered after I booked it was the same day as the London Marathon, but I've been assured that it's not going to affect anything at all. But if you need to book hotels, book them pretty soon. You can book hotels even kind of half an hour away from the venue and get on the tube, or some people are booking Airbnb, which seems pretty good. Pretty cool kind of thing. But the whole idea of the day, what it's about, is to systemize the buying of HMOs, which is what we want to do, from raising the finance, doing the refurbs, the whole thing. Then when you do one, just want to focus on doing one, and all you got to do is repeat. It's one of those things where you just repeat, 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 repeat. So who's there on the day? Well, I'll be there, but I'll just be the compere on this particular day. And these are the guys. You might have seen these on the website, so I'll just tell you who they are and why we've got them there. You might know Vicky Richet, the lovely Vicky Richet on the top left, also known as the Property Mermaid. Vicky's doing property for one reason, so she could fly and swim all over the world. And I don't know if you follow her on Facebook. She's always gone off on these long haul trips. She's dived all over the world, and that's what she's doing it for. She's living the dream, people, living the dream, I guess. So her big thing is sourcing. What she says to me when she goes off to source some property, she says, "I'm off to shop again." And so she's got a talk. She's doing the simple secret of sourcing HMOs. So I want to know that as well as anyone, because I'm going to be in the audience on this day. And then, of course, I've already told you about Ash coming on and talk to us about Article 4. And that's going to be a really interesting talk, I know. The next two guys they're kind of like Batman and Robin a bit. There's Saj Hussain there on the right. They're going to be talking to us about raising joint venture finance. They've raised hundreds of thousands of pounds. Divian there on the purple shirt, I think he's only about 12 as well, so it's going to be interesting. We'll probably have to get him a big stool, I think, to sit on. He'll probably get tired of his there all day. He'll kill me for saying this if he finds out. He's great though, and these guys are great. You know, their talk is raising all the joint venture finance you're ever going to need. You know, lots of people say property. The reason I'm not succeeding, they tell themselves, is that they haven't got time and they haven't got cash. You know, then the first one is easy. You need to make time. And the second one is you can access as much cash as you want. I've actually done about £400,000 with joint ventures myself. And that kind of amazes me to hear me say that. Before I did my first one, it was 25,000. I told myself, nobody's going to want to lend money to me, you know? And then I asked somebody and he said, yes. And then as soon as you do the first one, you're off. Right, the guy in the top right with a big cheesy grin, that's Mike Woods. He's a kind of new guy on the scene in a way. He's been working with Kevin Green quite a lot. He's done 100 refurbs, this guy. What he doesn't know about refurbs, you know, it's not worth knowing at all. And he says he does his refurbs. He says, I can't remember if it's 25 or 33% that most people pay. He knows all the shortcuts, the things to look for, the things to forget about, you know, how to get the best deals on your supplies. Everybody probably knows Susie Cole down there, bottom left. So she's going to be doing a really cool video for us today. How to dress your property. I think it's called The Importance of Getting Dressed. Because whether you're doing the property to flip or to sell, how you display the property is all important. We find with our rooms, for instance, the rooms that we dress are usually the first ones to go, you know. And once again, she's got a particular system. She kind of sticks to the system that works. Dan Hill, talking about systems. If you stand still for long enough when you come to the event, Dan will systemize you. He'll systemize everything. He's got a pretty good system for signing tenants into the property with nobody about. So if you've got a tenant wants to move in on a Sunday evening, for instance, his system is that you don't have to be there. You can move them in, do the inventory without being there at all. The tenant can be there on his own. So he systemizes everything. There's that thing I've actually got a post-it note stuck on my computer that says leverage, manage, automate, do. Lots of people get tied up in property and try to do everything, whereas Dan and me as well, you know, we try to step out of it. Lastly is a guy who's not really on the scene. His name is Orang Ramani, and he's Vicky Richet's commercial mortgage guy. So he's the guy that refinances her money out of the deals. Sometimes he says he can get it all out. It depends on the deal. Sometimes he's got to leave a small bit in, but hopefully he's going to be well, not hopefully, for sure, he's going to be there on the day to help us set up our commercial finance facility. So you can see what we've tried to do. We've tried to set up a whole business in a box, a HMO in a box, how to systemize it, how to finance it, how to refurb it, how to dress it, how to source it, and how to refinance yourself out of the deal. And I'm really excited about this day because at the end of the day, we're going to get a manual where we can go out and do it ourselves. We can have, I'm probably going to set up a big Skype call with all these people afterwards, so you can access them afterwards again, the same as we are this evening. And this is a bit a game changer, I think, you know, and it's going to be for us as well, I'm going to be honest with you. So, no fluff on that day. Did I say that? Yeah, well, I'm going to make sure it's pure content, and it's amazing what you can learn in an hour. So these are the guys coming on the reunion. Do you know what? I've Johnny Cass. It was a boot camp I went on for a week, and there were 60 people there. They all paid £3,000 each. Me and Jane and another lady didn't because we got it as a part of a training with somebody else. but it's worth £3,000 to go and see him, and the reunion's like 167 quid, I think, you know. So what are we doing? We got some sort of deal here, Will. Yeah, so we're adding it up. So at the moment, if you come to those two events, it's £167 plus VAT for the reunion. The last one we did it for £100. It was Bristol. This time it's a little bit more because it's London prices. You know, it's in Kensington. And Johnny, being a star that he is, I've got to pay his airfare from Australia, which is £1,000. He tried to get me to pay his taxi fares as well, but I said no. And the HMO in a box there, you'll see it advertised on the website, $399 plus VAT, and that's the price to the public at the moment. But for you, you know, we always do amazing deals for the MLCS family, and it should be just bouncing across the screen right now. Can I believe it myself? I can't believe we're going to do this, but we're going to do both events for £400. I think that's including VAT as well. So that's £167 per day. Plus VAT. Okay, I'm stopping because I'm just astounded at the price. That's 2 full training days. And do you know what days when you come on them? We're not kind of into fluff. It's nuts and bolts and fun, really. We want to learn stuff, we want to have fun, kind of interact with people. And when people go away from the event, you've got to have something that you can go out and use, not another big upsell to some more kind of events. So yeah, we're really excited about this. So what have we got, Will? I'm sat here with Will. This is the link, actually. We are seriously going to only hold this up for 48 hours because when you come on the event, you know, it's all about taking action, right? So I think, well, if you don't do it in 24 hours, you're probably not going to book onto this event. So Will's playing around with the computer. He's a whiz kid, honestly, he's a whiz kid. And so you should see something come up now on your screen. There should be a little box on the right-hand side, yeah, and it should say add to cart. So this is a new system that Will's been playing with all afternoon. And just to make it easy to book, you can just book through PayPal on that add to cart link, or cut and paste that link in your browser as well. So there's lots of questions coming up. So if we just go through the questions now, we'll go to the top. You know, we're kind of bang on time. It's coming up to 5 to 8. Okay. Have you managed to get the sound back on? Well, hopefully we have. Somebody says, is the £100 an annual fee or a one-off?
That's for the property redress scheme.
I think, are you talking about the property redress scheme? I'm pretty sure that's an annual fee on that one. I'd call it just a tax, to be honest. You know, it's just a tax. You just got to pay these things. I hate it, but you've got to do it. Hopefully you can all hear me. There was a couple of people there in the middle saying we went down for a little while. Dennis says, what have I missed? You haven't missed anything, Dennis. I just stopped talking when you went. Kitty's here. So guys, not got very many questions there, actually.
Tell them to post them.
So if you want to post some questions, had a little chat with somebody on the phone this afternoon, actually. He phoned me up and said, I was talking to somebody who's been on your course and they're operating under the radar. They're not telling the council what they're doing. They're not fitting fire doors. They're not putting alarms in. They're not doing anything. And asking me if that's the way we work. And this is absolutely not the way we work. You know, I kind of assured him. For all I know, he could have been somebody from the council, perhaps. You know, but I assured him that we always try to do things ethically. You know, keep it up front. Do things as they should be done. Okay, any more questions? Oh, here's one. So, are we going to improve on this offer? You've got to be killing me. That's like mega cheap. So you get a chance to come to a venue in London, a prestigious venue in London with some of the top speakers, I think, in the country, really, for £167. I think we just cannot do it any cheaper than that. If we'd done it cheaper than that, we'd be losing cash, honestly. What else we got? Will we be able to get access to the slides of the HMO in a box day? Like I said, we're going to create a manual of the day, which will be all the slides. Plus, we'll post the video. Susie Cole's video will come out to everybody as well, so we'll make sure everybody gets that. Somebody says, I booked the agent's day. Robin, I booked the agent's day a couple of days ago. I'd like to attend the HMO day. Can I book? Do you mean you booked the reunion day? I think Robin. I think booked the reunion day as well. Robin, I think are you saying, Robin, that you booked the reunion day? Can you get the HMO day at a discount? I think, Will, you're going to send that link out to everybody. Yeah. So, guys, if you've already booked a reunion day, we've already got, I think, 40 now. About 40 people booked on the reunion, 42, and you just want to book on the HMO day. We'll send that specific link out to you tomorrow. Tonight even. Might go out tonight. He doesn't need to sleep.
Yeah,
Michael, yeah, the £400. Unbelievably, that £400 and 80p does also include VAT. That's how cheap it is. So the day for us is we're charging £167 plus VAT per day. So mega cheap, and it's going to be. If you were at the reunion the last time, it was such a blast as well. We had such good fun. So and with Johnny there, if you've not heard Johnny speak, he sets the room on fire. I can tell you, this guy is something else. He takes it up a level. Johnny was he's living and working in England for quite a few years, and then about 2 years or more, his mum became ill and sadly died. So he went home to Australia, and I've been talking to Johnny in and out for quite some time, trying to get him to come back over again. And in the end, I said, "What about if I pay your airfare?" He said, "Yeah, okay then." So yeah, it's quite a coup to get him over, really. Can I have the rent-to-rent business plan? Well, we haven't finished that yet, and at the moment, that's just going to be for people coming on the Edge. If you check out the Edge site, it's MLCS Edge, EDGE. You see, we've kind of updated a lot of stuff on the site. We've also changed it from a one-day event to a two-day event, and we've cut the price a little bit. So it's been reduced by £600 as well. It's all crazy stuff, isn't it, we're doing here? But we really want to build an industry that's going to be outstanding. You know, that's what we're trying to do, be the best of the best with everything. And if you check out the Edge, you can see the business plan, a bit of the business plan on there, a bit of the video, all that kind of stuff. What other questions we've got there? A bit slow coming through. When will your evictions manual be done? Yeah, hopefully we're going to get those 2 manuals finished by April. There's a lot of work in these manuals, behind the scenes, a load of work. Can you put the KPI link up again? I can't actually go back to that, but I think we'll post it in the group tomorrow, that one, KPI link, and that is for Key Person of Influence event in London on Friday the 20th of March. It's just a really good event to go to, those guys, you know, really smart guys. We can continue this discussion in the support group, if you like. How long will this offer be up for? Somebody's asking. So yeah, it's on your screen. I'm not going to say who asked that question because it's on your screen. This is going to be up for 48 hours. I said 24 hours because I think either you're going to do it, you're going to take action because this is like mega cheap, or not. But if we get the replay working, then 48 hours is kind of fair, I think. Can you send me a free manual? Nope. That's a quick answer to that. Right, unless anybody's got any more questions. That's a silly question. Can I send you a free manual? Yeah, if you send me some free money, that should work just well for me. Any more questions, guys? Did we finish? So don't forget, if you've already booked on the reunion, you can, Will's going to send everybody a link out just to you guys who booked on the reunion. He'll send you that tomorrow. Hey, we must have covered everything. Not very many questions tonight. Usually we get about 50, you know, so maybe you're a bit shy tonight. Come on, you can ask us anything, even personal stuff. Ask Will some personal stuff. Okay, no, I think we're done. So don't forget, you've got one clear action step to do tonight if you want to come on both of those events. Actually, we kind of put this together, as I said, because lots of guys are in London, but not so many guys from London have booked it. There's more people outside of London who've booked onto the event. It's a strange old world, isn't it? So I think you've still got that add to cart sign. I'll leave it up for a little while. Or are we switching off, Will? What are we doing?
send them to this page?
Oh yeah, we're going to send you to a little secret page now, actually, because this is all new stuff for us. We found this really good system, so we're kind of trying it out this evening. So hopefully, guys, see you soon. See you in the real world on Facebook, and hope to see you at those events. And I don't know, if you're thinking, you know, you're not sure, just don't think about it. Just book them. They're going to be awesome events, really are. So good night from me. Do you want to say good night, Will?
Good night.
Good night, everybody, and see you on Facebook. Bye-bye. Two people. I don't know what's going on here. Well, except for me. Sorry.